There we go. Had to mute everybody here. So, okay. Getting right down into our Sukhasana position. Legs crossed. You can extend the legs. All right. So after you find that center, close your eyes and soften your shoulders. And once you soften your shoulders, you should start to feel the whole body just kind of gravitate down towards the floor. Soften the jaw and relax your eyes. The first thing we want to do is just feel the rise and fall of our chest. Maybe you start to realize that your belly is rising and falling too, which is good. You want both the belly and chest to rise and then fall. Just notice a couple more breaths and then we'll do some deep breathing. Just a natural breath in and out. And then on your next inhale, let's go ahead and take a deep inhale through the nose. Feeling that little restriction in the back of the throat. And then you're going to hold at the top. Exhale out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Count how many breaths you take, or how many counts you take in your inhale. And after your pause, exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. That is what calms your nervous system. Couple more. Inhale through the nose. Nice and deep. Rise in the chest, rise in the belly. And then you hold at the top. Exhaling out through the mouth, longer than your inhale. Softening your shoulders. You can return back to your natural breath, keeping your eyes closed. Soften again all the muscles in your face, down to your neck and shoulders. Let's make them circles in our neck. So go one direction. Small circles first. We're just introducing the circles and the movement. No rushing. And you feel like you can go a little bit deeper, go a little bit bigger in your circles. Just in one direction. Come back to center, allow your equilibrium to come back. And then go the other direction. So small circles first. If you have your eyes closed, you might find that you get a little dizzy, so you might want to open your eyes here. And coming back to center, look over your right shoulder. So keeping your chin level with the floor as you look over your right shoulder as far as you can. And just trying to relax the shoulders at the same time. Come back to center and look over your left shoulder. Again, chin level with the floor as you try to look directly over your left shoulder. Come back to center. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder, keeping those shoulders nice relaxed. And just to let the weight of your head, gravitate towards your shoulder. Soften the eyes. Relax the jaw. And take your right hand and put it on top of your left shoulder to kind of draw it down. Bring attention there to try to keep that shoulder from going up. We want to draw it down towards the floor. As your head drops to the right. Keep breathing nice and easy. And then take your left hand out to the side, point your fingers. So collect those fingers up to center, point them towards the floor. As you push down on your left shoulder and your head to the right. You're just giving a little bit more tension to the stretch. And start to rotate your chin towards your chest. Go nice and slow. And then roll your right ear to your right shoulder again. And now we're doing some active movements here with the stretch. So do a few of those on your own. So just rotating down towards your chest and then right back over to your shoulder. Maybe back a little if you want. I guess the front of the throat a little bit. So just continue to do that. Just a few more times. Bringing your head back to center, hands back onto your thighs and knees. Now just notice, keep your eyes closed for a moment, and just notice the difference between your left side to your right side. Do you feel like your left side's going down, your right's up? That's generally what happens. All right, so let's go ahead and bring the left ear to left shoulder, keeping the hands on your thighs, just getting into the position first. And just letting the weight of the head do it for you. Relax the shoulders, soften your jaw. Take your left hand and put it on top of your right shoulder. And just allow yourself to press down onto that shoulder as you let that head go to the left. So it's over your left shoulder. So you get a little deeper stretch there. Take a couple long deep breaths on your own. So think about bringing that oxygen to the muscles through your neck. And then every time you exhale, you're releasing the nervous system. So you're calming it. You're releasing any tension. So if you can think of a breath as something that's meaningful, then you're going to really cultivate the breathing into your practice. So inhaling, thinking about bringing goodness to the muscles. Exhale, getting rid of any stagnant, negative stuff out of that tensed area, right? Take your right hand out to the side, point. So gather those fingers together and point the fingers down towards the floor. You find a little bit more weight being put onto your shoulder, deeper stretch here. So soften the face and maybe put a little gentle smile on your face as you start to release tension. It feels good to get tension out of your body. And then whenever you're ready, you can roll your chin towards your chest. Come right back up, left ear over left shoulder. So an active movement here. So rotating the chin down towards the chest and right back over the shoulder. You can even attempt to bring your head back a little bit. You'll get a stretch in your front of your neck or your throat area. But just do a few of those if it's okay on your neck. No pain here. Great. Let's go ahead and bring our head back to center, hands back onto your knees. And then notice if your shoulders, both sides of your body, is a little bit more equal. You might feel the right side's down a little bit more because you stretch that side. So let's go ahead and do some circles in our neck again. Relax those shoulders. So it doesn't matter what direction you're going in, as long as you're making little circles, and then we'll go ahead and reverse the direction. All right, and come back to center. Close your eyes. Stick a right hand on our chest, left hand on top. As you soften the shoulders, relax the elbows, press your hands against your chest, and take a moment to honor your heart center for everything it does for us. Great. You can place your hands into prayer. If you have a prayer of your own that you like to say to yourself, please do. Otherwise, you can set an intention for your practice. And then slowly open your eyes. We're going to get right onto our hands and knees. Have your blocks nearby. I like to use 2 blocks. So if you have 2 blocks, that would be fantastic. If you only have 1, that's fine. You can still work with it. We'll do the best we can. So keeping those blocks, 1 on each side if you have 2 on the top of your mat. But right now, we just want to open up our spine a little bit with our cat-cow. So come into your table position. Spread those fingers. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and go into your cow position by dropping the belly, looking forward. So keep it gentle at first. You just woke up or soon woke up. Exhale, round the back. So alternating between the cow and the cat position. So you're just noticing the spine moving forward and back. You can always do some subtle movements in either position. So it doesn't have to be so stagnant when you move. You can move around a little bit. So whatever your body says, yeah, I can use that. Leave it. And we're going a couple more rounds here. Okay. And we'll come back to center. We're going to get right into a downward dog. So go ahead and walk your hands forward. Be sure those fingers are spread nice and wide. As you tuck your toes, lift your knees, and shift your hips back. Now I would keep the knees bent first so that you can elongate your spine, your whole torso there. So think about pushing into your hands as you straighten your arms. Let your ears go in the inner part of your upper arms. So that's how you want to elongate. As you lift the tailbone up, but keep those knees bent so you can really get into that nice position. Shake out the head. And then alternate your feet here. So drop your right heel down, bend that right knee, and then you do the other side. So alternating the bend as you open up your hamstrings. Great. And then we'll come back to center. So you're going to bend your knees. So walk your feet forward and separate your feet so they're the width of your mat. So you think about your pinky toe being along the sides of your mat. And walk your hands forward. So let's go into a ragdoll. So keep those knees nice and bent. So this is a forward fold, but it's a gentle one. So relaxing the torso down, dropping the head. Relax the arms down. And just notice the long stretch of your entire spine here. Take a couple long deep breaths here. And maybe sway side to side. And feel where you might feel a little bit of opening when you sway. I notice in my sides of my lower back. Maybe you feel it somewhere else. Back to center, and then maybe walk forward and back and see if that feels nice. If it doesn't, go back to side to side. Back for side to side. Taking your hands onto your opposite elbow and just feel the weight of your arms going down towards the floor. You'll feel an opening in your upper back. So it's becoming very aware while you do these poses, as you breathe, what's happening inside your body is so important. And really, it's all about trying to find what feels good to you. You can go ahead and release the arms down.
We're going to be rolling up very slowly. So think about stacking your vertebrae as you come up. So bend those knees and start to stack your vertebrae as you roll up. Keep those arms heavy, head heavy. So let the head be the last thing that comes up. Just rolling your spine up to upright position. Great. Now let's go ahead and do some circles with our shoulders. So roll those shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Just making big circles. Now, if you want to use your arms to exaggerate, you can. Just want to get some movement into those shoulders. And then go ahead and do the opposite direction. So back, up, forward, and down. Great. And then go ahead and shake out from behind now. Now, before we do any postures that are standing and stagnant and strong, we want to warm up our body. So we're going to do a few sun salutations. We'll come to the back of the mat, finding your Tadasana. So lifting those toes, finding the four corners of your feet. Engage those legs by lifting the kneecaps. Relax the arms down. Inhale, extend the arms up high first. Reach up nice and tall. We're going to just do this a couple times first. Exhale, release the arms back down. Inhale, extend the arms up high. Nice long body stretch. Exhale, release the arms back down. So inhale, extending the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Now we'll go ahead and do half sun salutation before we do full. So we're building on our postures. So inhale, extend the arms up high. Exhale, bend your knees as you fold over your legs. Going to go into a forward fold. You can straighten your legs at any time, but just be gentle. Shake out your head. Hands onto your shins or thighs for halfway lift. So keeping that back nice and straight as you look straight down to the floor. Exhale, fold over your legs and shake out your head to another standing fold. Arms out to a T, come up with a flat back as you extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release back down. Two more. Inhale, extend the arms high. Big breath here. Exhale, hinge and fold. Legs can be straight, knees can be bent. Shake out your head once you get to your standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, your version. Exhale, back to a standing fold. So release your chest down, relax your head, shake it out. Arms out to a T, come up with a flat back as you extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release down. So one more time. Inhale, extend the arms high. Exhale, hinge and fold. Shake out the head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and shake it out. Arms out to a T, come on up. Extending the arms high. Exhale, release. So before we do full sun salutation, go ahead and take your hands onto your hips. I like to put my thumb on my sacrum area and wrap my fingers around. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Now you want to separate your feet so they're hips width apart. Bend your knees a little bit. And then squeeze those shoulder blades together as we mentioned. And then start to push your hips forward as you straighten your legs. But you really want to engage your legs at the same time. That will protect your lower back. We're just going to do a baby back bend here. So you're thinking about opening up the front of the body up to the sky. Big arch in your back as you push those hips forward. Exhale, come back up, bend your knees, fold over your legs. So we're standing forward. Release your arms down and shake it out. Arms out to a T, come on up. Extend your arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Two more times like that. So placing your hands onto your hips, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Activate those legs first as you push those hips forward. Thinking about lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. Get a nice back bend here if you can. If it's too much on your back, just back out of it. Keep breathing. Exhale, come on up. Bend your knees, fold over your legs, shake out your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms out to a T. Come on up and extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. So you can see that we're building up in a lot of the postures before we do a full sun salutation. So go ahead and get back into your baby back bend. So activate those legs, push those hips forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and lift the chest. You may want to look up to the ceiling. Maybe it's okay on your neck. If not, just look down. Exhale, come back up. Bend your knees, fold over your legs to a forward fold. Shake out your head, straighten your legs if you like. Arms out to a T, come on up. Extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. I always miss a posture here and there, but that's okay. All right, so make sure you shake everything out. And we're going to be building on sun salutation. So at the back of the mat, we're going to build on that. So inhale, extend the arms high to the sky. Big breath in. You start to feel like you're reaching more. Exhale, bend at your hips as you fold over your legs. Shake out your head. Inhale, halfway lift, your version. Exhale, bend your knees deeply as you plant your hands and walk your hands forward to a plank pose. Lower your knees. So hold here for a second. So keep those toes tucked. So you have your hands almost underneath your shoulders, knees to the floor. I want you to try to straighten your legs again. So just straighten your legs to a plank pose. Lower your knees back down. So you're thinking about really engaging the core as you're doing this, as you're pushing your hands. So do a couple of those. Straighten the legs, lifting the knees, engage those legs, squeeze the belly in, push the floor away. Plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees. So it's very activating. If it's too much, just keep your knee down, knees down. One more time. Straighten the legs, engage the belly, push the floor away. And then lower the knees. Untuck your toes and then lower your chest and belly down to the floor. Take your time. Once you get there, slide those hands to the lower ribs and keep those elbows nice and close to your body. Pushing the top of your feet, lift your chest. Just a little bit. For baby cobra. Exhale, release. Now take your hands off the mat to the sides. Do the same thing. Widen your feet too if you want. Lift the chest, push into the hands, come up a little higher if you want. Exhale, release. Maybe bring your hands away a little bit more. Inhale, lift your chest, push into the hands. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Place the hand underneath the shoulders again. Tuck the toes. Let's come into tabletop. I do a couple of rounds of cat cow first before we come in downward dog. So inhale, drop in the belly, looking forward. Exhale, round the back, chin to chest for a cat. So doing a counteracting pose to baby cobra. A couple poses actually. All right, we'll come back to center. We're going to go right back into downward dog. So walk those hands forward if you need to. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Anytime you're in downward dog, you're always welcome to pedal your feet, or you can just stretch out. But you want to think about pushing on the bases of your fingers, squeezing those shoulder blades together, pushing those hips up and back. Shake out the head. Bending the knees, walk your hands back towards your feet, and always take your time. You can walk your feet forward right into a halfway lift. So come halfway up, squeeze your shoulder blades together, looking straight down, your version, so whatever that is. Exhale, fold over your legs and shake out your head. Arms out to a T, come up with a flat back and extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Great. So we got two more to do, so it's very active, trying to warm up the entire body. Go ahead and shake everything out.
We'll go a little bit quicker. So back to the mat. Inhale, extend the arms up. Big breath in. Good morning, right? Exhale, fold over your legs and shake it out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, walk them forward. Into your plank pose. See if you can hold it for a moment. Really engage that belly. Keep those legs nice and straight. Otherwise, lower your knees, untuck the toes. If you're in a plank pose and want a challenge, you can always try to lower yourself down to the floor. Once you get there, go ahead and untuck the toes, separate your feet, hands off the mat. Let's do a couple baby cobras. So inhale, lifting your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together as you push into the hands. And even push on the top of your feet. Exhale, release. So we're going to do 2 more like that. We'll take a quick rest. Inhale, push into the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades together, push on the top of the feet. Try to look down at the mat to keep your neck long. Exhale, release. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Hand underneath your forehead and rest. A nice way to counteract that pose is to bend your knees so the soles of your feet are parallel with your ceiling, and just do a couple windshield wipers side to side. Kind of low, kind of release the lower back here. The best counteracting pose is child's pose. So you can stay here and do this for a few moments, or you can release your feet down, hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up and go into a child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart. Sit your heels back towards your heels. Sit your buttocks to your heels, and then relax your forehead down. All right, we're going to come right back up because we're warm now. We don't want to come down too quick yet. So let's come back into table, do a couple rounds, cat-cow, dropping your belly, looking forward. Exhaling, rounding your back, chin to chest. Should feel really nice to do this. A couple more times. Okay, we'll come back to center. We'll make our way back to a downward facing dog. So walk those hands forward, tuck the toes, lift those knees, hips up and back. Pedal your feet if you like. Otherwise, you can just think about dropping the heels down towards the mat, but they do not need to touch. Bending your knees, and then we'll go ahead and walk our hands back towards the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and shake it out. Arms out to a T. Come up with a flat back and extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Now, the last sun salutation, we're going to add tree pose. And the reason I like to do chair pose, is to activate the quads, because we're going to really need that for our next couple of poses. All our poses, actually. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is bend into our knees. I want you to think about shifting those hips back. So buttocks back. Look down at your toes. See if you can get your knees to track over your second toe. But you want to be able to still see your toes. So that's what's activating your thighs. And then squeeze the belly in. And then take your arms straight out in front of you. And draw those shoulders back into the socket. And then do a couple of pulsing up and down. And up and down. And you're going to start to feel this kind of heat happening in the quads. We really want to make sure we keep those nice and strong. A couple more pulses. And then you're just going to drop your hands down to the floor, straighten your legs for a forward fold. Shake out the head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to bend our knees deeply as we plant our hands to the mat, walk our hands to the front of the mat to a plank pose. You can go ahead and drop your knees right down, or you can just lower yourself from plank pose.
Up to you. And land on your belly and chest. So you have your toes untucked, feet are separated, hands are off the mat. Inhale for your baby cobra. So press into your top of your feet, push at your hands, lift up. Exhale, release. 2 more times at your own pace. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, release. Inhale, release, up. Come on up, Exhale, release. Nice. You can always take a break if you want. You can rest your hand underneath your forehead, or you can shift back into a child's pose. You pick. If you are on your belly, put your hand underneath your forehead, bend your knees, and windshield wiper your legs or your feet. If you're in child's pose, just stretch out and relax. Wherever you're at, let's meet in tabletop. So if you're in child's pose, you just shift forward. If you're on your belly, you shift back into the table and do a couple of rounds of cat-cow. We're getting a lot of movement in our spine for sure. The more movement we can keep our body, the less stiffer we'll be. Makes sense, right? All right, we'll come back to center. Let's get back into a downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. And then go ahead and walk your feet forward, separate your feet to the width of your mat, walk your hands back, and let's do a few moments of ragdoll. So allow your torso to hang, let your arms be heavy, sway side to side. Arms out to a T, come up with a flat back and extend your arms high to the sky. Exhale, release down. Okay, before we do our poses, the new ones, just do a couple swings. So taking the arms out to one side and lifting the other foot. So this should only feel nice with those arms really just fly in the air. Come back to center. Slow it down, make a fist with your right hand, left hand on top, elbows level with the floor, swing it again, picking up that opposite foot. Get a little bit higher in the spine. Okay, back to center. And let's shake it out. All right, so we're going to be using the pose. So we're going to be doing warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3. So just the third one is a little tough. That's why you need your blocks for this. If you do not have a block, be close to a wall because you're standing on one foot. So it's a balancing pose. It can be pretty challenging, but it's not like you can't do it. It just want to warn you. All right, so the first one is we're going to work at warrior 1. So take your blocks and put them on the high end on your mat. If you have one, just make sure it's somewhere in the center of your mat. Otherwise, if you're using 2, that's great. First thing we're going to do is get into chair pose. It seems like I can't keep chair pose in my mind. All right, so go ahead and get into your chair pose. So bending the knee, make sure you're tracking over your second foot, engage the belly. So you're thinking about lengthening the tailbone down. Don't let yourself lift your tailbones up and with a big arch. You want to lengthen the tailbone down. See, I flatten my lower back when I do that. Arms out to a T. Sink a little bit and do a couple of pulsating before we move forward. Great. Now we're going to bring your hands down towards the blocks. Your knees are still bent. Press your hands into the block. If you're using one, see if you can turn it on sideways and put both hands on there. Okay. And then we're going to step our left foot back as far as we can. Okay, so your front foot straight. The front knee is directly over the ankle. And then you're on your ball of your back foot. So you can see that we're in a lunge pose. We're going to walk the blocks back. If you're using one, just walk it on the inside of the foot. And when you feel like you're secure enough in this position, you're going to flatten the back foot in an angle. And then you're going to come back up in the ball of the foot. So I want you to pay attention to your hips. See what's happening when your hips when you do that. So as you flatten the foot, your hips will want to go off to the left side. But when you come onto the ball of the foot, your hips go forward. Do you see that? So your hips, you're thinking about the front hip bones. So they're facing forward now. You flatten the foot, they shift to the left. All right, but they're not all the way into like a warrior two. You'll see. So come back on the ball of the foot and then shift one more time, flattening the foot. Now walk your block back, place your hand onto your right thigh and slowly come back up. So coming up to a standing position. So this is pretty tough. So if it's too much, just keep your hand down. So now we're in this version of a warrior one. So the hips generally go forward, but they're probably to the left. I mean, you would just extend the arms up. So this is warrior one, where we're facing forward on the front of our mat. Exhale, go ahead and bring your hands back down. Now, you want to take your front foot and scoot it to the middle of your mat. So you want it directly in the middle of your mat. Now you may need to bring your back foot up a little bit. So your back foot's still in an angle, but you want to make sure your heel is in line with your back heel, okay? Now, bring those blocks back. Use your right leg to push you up. And now you notice that the hips are going more to the side of your long part of your mat. And then arms out to a T, warrior two. So you just did the warrior one. Now you're doing warrior two. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring our hands back onto the block. You can come on the ball of your back foot. Now this one is going to be tricky. So if you're using a wall, be sure you have it close by. You're using your blocks, make sure that you're feeling secure with it. I suggest walking the blocks forward past your front foot, walking the back foot forward. So both feet are still going forward. You're going to be standing on your right leg. Walk those blocks forward, and you're going to shift forward to lift the back leg, straighten the front leg. So this is a version of warrior three. We're not doing the full one. We're just doing this right now. Exhale, release the foot back down. So you can feel that that's a pretty strong pose in balancing on one leg. So we're just going to lift up one more time. So shift forward so that you can lift your back foot and straighten the right leg. Flex the back foot. Lift it as high as you can as you look straight down. And then bend into your right knee and release the foot down. Let's go ahead and step that left foot up to meet the right. And go ahead into a forward fold. So release your hands down to the floor and shake out your head. Arms out to a T, come up with a flat back and extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Whew. All right, so there you got that 1, 2, 3. They usually do it in different versions and sequences, but I'm just demonstrating them so that you know what they are. Okay, so let's do the other side so we can get a taste of it. So with your blocks in front of you again, one, I'm going to do it with one just to make sure I cover everybody's bases. If they just have one, two is best. All right, so making sure your block is nearby. Let's get into chair pose. So bending your knees so they're tracking over your second toe. You want to be able to see your toes. Lengthen the toe bone down as you lift your chest and extend the arms out. Couple pulsating motions here.
Great. And then we're going to bring our hands down towards the block. So your knees are still bent. Now be sure you feel secure. We're going to be stepping our right foot back. It's like we're going to get in a lunge. So take your time. You might need to do little steps back until you can get into a version of a low lunge. So your front foot is straight. Your back foot is, you're on the heel of your back foot. And then I want you to flatten that back foot and notice your hips. Okay? Come back onto the ball of your foot and then drop the heel down. One more time, ball of the foot and then drop the heel down. Walk that block towards your foot so you can come up a little bit. Once you feel stable, I mean, this is the thing, right? We want to make sure we're stable before we progress. So the knee is still over the ankle, the best it can. And use your left leg to push you up. So you have your front foot straight, back foot in an angle. Hips are somewhat going forward, but they're not going to go directly forward. Get a little bit off to the side. As you come up, then you extend the arms out of your mouth for warrior one. Great. You can come back down. Now, I'm not going too crazy on this. I don't want you to feel like you have to get this perfect. I'm just kind of demonstrating a little bit. All right, now we're going to work on to warrior two. So best way to do that is walk your block away so that you can make sure your front foot is in the middle of the mat and that your heel is lined up with your arch in the back foot, the best you can. Use your left leg to come up and then twist your body to the side of your mat. So now your hips are going forward or off to the side, I should say. And then arms out to a T for warrior two. Beautiful. Relax the arms down and bring your block forward. So you come bring down and so come with the heel of your back foot. Now, if you have one block, just get near a wall. So you have a block and a wall. All right. I mean, I think you need something on each side to help you with this. So walk that back foot in a little bit. Take that block in front of you. Hand off to the wall. Shift forward and lift that back leg for warrior three. The full version is extending the arms, but I'm not going to do that with you guys. And then release that back foot down. So let's do one more just like that. Shift forward, lift the back leg, warrior three. Release the foot. And then step your right foot up to meet the other. Bend into your knees. Come back to chair pose. Exhale, fold over your legs and straighten your legs for forward fold. Shake out your legs. Shake out your head. You can shake out your legs if you want. Arms out to a T. Come up with a flat back and extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Whew. Okay, so there you go. You did some pretty intense stretches, pretty strong poses. We're going to do a couple of swings, and then we're going to get down to the floor after tree pose, I think. And you know what? We already did balancing, so we'll skip tree pose, unless you want to do it. So go ahead and swing your arms to the side, loosen it up. You can always do tree pose here instead of swinging. So whatever version, whatever pose you want to do. Some days we want to do one pose more than the other. Okay, shake it out. All right, let's get down onto the floor. Be sure a block is nearby, since we will be doing legs up the wall eventually. First, we're just going to do a couple of things on our backs. So go ahead and lay yourself all the way down on your back with your knees bent. Relax the shoulders. Maybe walk those shoulder blades under.
Bring those feet close to your buttocks. We're going to be doing bridge pose now. So the heels are hips width apart. Shoulder blades are flat. You want your head to be nice and heavy on the floor. Place your fist, make fists with both hands and put them on top of your hips, right at the lower part of your belly. Whenever you're ready, think about lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. So you're pushing those hips into the fist as you lift up. And then press into your hips as you kind of give this resistance between your hips and your fist. Exhale, release. So think about your fist being like weights. So putting them on your lower hip. Now you don't have to do this. You could just put your hands out to the side. Some people don't want to do that type of stuff. I'm just giving you some variations. Okay, ready? Lift your hips. Push down on your hips as you lift. You feel this kind of tension between your hips and hands if you're doing that. And then slowly release. This is going to be our last odd posture for the session when we go back to our regular stuff. Inhale, lift the hips, push down with your fist, create that little tension. And then slowly release. Great. Let's take the right knee into our chest, interlace behind the shin or the thigh. Grab it and bring it as close as you like. Close your eyes. And then straighten your left leg to give yourself a full stretch here. Bend the left knee. Take the right ankle on top of your left thigh, just above your knee. Right hand between your thighs. Lift your left knee towards your chest as you interlace behind the left thigh. Flex both feet and stretch the right hip. Close your eyes. Once you get into position, maybe you want to sway side to side. Sometimes that just makes the stretch a little bit more tolerable when you keep it busy. All right. Good. Slowly release. Placing the right foot down. Take the left knee into your chest, interlace behind the thigh or the shin. Draw that knee in nice and close as you close your eyes. And extend the right leg if that's okay on you. And flex both feet. Nice wind relieving posture. Bending the right knee, put the foot back down on that, please. Left ankle on your right thigh, just above your knee. Lift the right knee into your chest as you interlace behind the right thigh or shin. Probably the thigh, shin's pretty tight. And then be sure to flex both feet. And the more you can draw that knee into your chest, the deeper of a stretch in your left hip you're going to get. Okay. Release the right foot down, left foot down. Separate your feet to the width of your mat. Your knees are bent. We're going to do windshield wiping with our knees. And drop your knees to one side and then the other. Okay, come back to center. Bring the knees together, feet together. Let's do our simple reclining twist. So arms out to a T, palms facing up. Push into the feet as you lift your hips, shift onto the left hip, and drop both knees to the left. Now you might want to look over your right shoulder. That's a big twist. It's a complete twist in your entire spine. So try to relax those shoulders as you breathe nice and easily. And just allow the weight of your legs to press down and open up your right side of your body. So softening those eyes and settle in for a few moments. I'm going to give a little extra loving care towards the end of the practice. So feel the chest rise and fall naturally as you soften your belly, soften the legs. So taking a few more moments here, see if you can release any tension. If you need to make any subtle movements to make it a little bit more comfortable, this is the opportunity to do it because we'll be here for a few moments. Probably one of the best poses, especially when you come out of bed in the morning. If you can do this every day before you even get out of bed, you can do this in bed. The most important thing is just going with what the body needs versus pushing into it and overstretching. That's not the point of this pose. The pose is to allow you just to open up naturally. Now to get out of this pose, be sure you go slow because you took a little extra time on it. Just bring your knees slowly back to center, bring your head back to neutral, neutralize your spine. Take a rest here first. Let the body respond. So whenever you're ready, you can bring your feet together, knees together, obviously. Lift the hips, shift onto the right hip, and drop both knees to the right. Now you know by now that you can use the block underneath your knees if you want some support. Look over your left shoulder. Find the version that you like. So just remember you'll be here for a few moments. So you really want to try to get yourself comfortable and that you're feeling like your body is benefiting from this posture. I think that's the main thing. If you do postures that make you feel good, especially during and after, that's the pose for you. So settling in. And once you get the position, closing the eyes, softening the face, release the jaw. Let your chest be light and your belly warm. Just feel the weight of your legs gravitating towards the floor as your body opens on the left side. Should feel like a very nice opening, chest opening, back opening, hip opening. Couple more breaths. So be sure that you come out of the posture very slowly once you were in it a little bit longer. Neutralize your back, neutralize your head. Bring both knees into your chest and hug them close. Rock side to side. Massaging your back. If you like to do happy baby, or you can just keep the knees in and separate the knees towards your armpit. You don't have to go super deep on this. But if you feel like that's enough, otherwise you can go into happy baby by grabbing the outside of your shin or your feet and drawing those knees into your armpit. And rock side to side, especially in child's pose. You're gonna, not child's pose, happy baby. Oh my goodness. Rock side to side. Get a deeper massage in your back. Great. Bring the knees back to center. Drop your feet down to the floor. Let's go ahead and do legs up the wall. So taking your block, lift your hips, place it to the lowest part of your sacrum. Bring your knees into your chest first to be sure your block is where you want it before you extend the legs up. It's just allowing the legs to relax in the air. It's good to do an inversion. Close your eyes and let yourself relax. This posture is usually done against the wall. So you would have your back of your legs resting up against the wall. It can get tricky to get into it. But once you have something that holds up your legs, it's very, very calming. Although I find that this modification or this variation is calming. But the true version is up against the wall. Oops, sorry. Snapping my pants here. Sorry. Let's just allow the legs to shake a little bit. Wiggle those toes. Rotate the ankles. Make them all happy feet. Reverse in the direction as well. Shaking out the legs again. And then start to pedal your knees or your feet here. So pedaling your legs forward like you're riding a bicycle upside down. Just open up all those big joints there. And then go ahead and do the opposite direction. So pedaling backwards, challenging your coordination, right? And then shake out the legs vigorously. Whee! All right, let's go ahead and bring the feet back down. Going to be lifting our hips and moving the block. So lower your hips down. If you want to squeeze your knees in first, that lengthens your tailbone down towards the bottom of your mat. And then you can extend the legs out to Shavasana, your last favorite pose, the kitty pose. Arms alongside your body, palms facing up. Settle in. So do a quick body scan on your own, feeling like you're sinking into the floor. Just a couple more breaths here. Wiggle the toes on the fingers. Move your wrists and your ankles. And then extend your arms overhead and give yourself a full body stretch here. You want to feel like you're stretching out through the fingers, through the feet. Stretch one side, like you're trying to make yourself into a half moon here. So stretch one side as you curl to the left, whatever side you're doing, and then the other side. Great. And then bending your knees, roll onto your right side. So using your right arm as a pillow. And take your time. Left arm out in front of you, push into your hands to help you come up to a seated position. So once you get into your seated position, you can always stay in Shavasana as long as you like. Some people love staying there a little bit longer. So sitting up nice and tall, relax the hands down, relax those shoulders. And with your eyes closed. Placing your right hand on your chest, left hand on top. Let's take a few moments to honor the heart center, where we hold the compassion for ourselves and others. Hands into prayer. You can finish off with a prayer of your own. Or just remember your intention and send it out to the universe on your own. You can bow to yourself to see your practice. Coming on up. Namaste.